Hello everyone, Brett here, Lionheart 84. Apologies for any wind that sort of covers the sound on the video. I'm running a little bit late today on doing this video because we had heavy rain this morning and it has stopped for a short while. A little bit of sun trying to show through. It's Sunday the 4th of July, which means it's the first Sunday of the month when I do my quick garden walk around to see how everything's changed, or how anything has changed from the one I did on the first Sunday of June. But I also wanted to take the opportunity, as it's the 4th of July, to say happy 4th of July or Independence Day to any of my American viewers. You probably won't be watching the video if you're busy doing things to celebrate the 4th of July, but it's nice that it happens to sort of coincide with the first Sunday of the month, so it given me an opportunity to pass on my best wishes, and indeed anyone else who's not American have a nice Sunday. Temperature today is 67 degrees Fahrenheit, 19 degrees centigrade, not very warm for July. It's meant to be a summer month, so the tropicals aren't very happy, but at least the cool temperate plants are doing fine in the garden, as you'll see in a minute. So without further ado, I'll turn the camera around and have a look at what's going on in the garden. So as I said in the intro, this is a quick tour. I'll just spin the camera around of my small, heavily planted up garden area. I'm not doing the decked area today, which is where I keep all my subtropicals, citrus and tropicals. I'll save that for a video another day, just do a quick round up on them. But I'm just going to do a quick walk around of the main, well, it's not the main part of the garden, it's the only part of the garden. It's a small garden, as you're aware if you're my regular viewers. So we'll start with the left-hand raised bed. I'm going to run through very quickly what's happening. Got a Daphne in full flower there, and behind the Daphne there's my variegated Chilean guava. That's Ugni Molini Flambeau. It's got plenty of flowers on it now, so we should get some small fruits this year. They're not particularly large fruits. My Butilon is in full flower on the wall now. As you're probably aware from my other videos, that's my kiwi berry. Meant to have been Issai, but I've now been informed by a kiwi expert that it's not an Issai, so it's not going to produce fruits unless I find a way of getting male flowers here. So I might have to try and grow a male plant in a pot, see if I can get it to flower and then cross-pollinate it at the appropriate time of the year. I've got my two little one of my two camellias there in pots. Very pleased with how my lemon is doing this year. This is my planted in-ground Myers lemon. It's got flowers on it. The new growth is looking very good, the best it's done ever since it was planted, so I hope it's finally getting established. Behind it is another camellia. Now you might or might not be able to see, but I've now got my Agipanthus flower stems are finally up, so we should have full flower on these in about 2 weeks time, and you'll see as we walk further along some of the others already flowering. This is the first of my 3 blueberries. I did a video the other day where I decided to bag some of the fruits on it just to see if I could save them from the birds this year. I've put a few bags on. Behind that is another Daphne. The first of my pineapple guavas, or feijoas. This is Aca Solariana, and this one is Mammoth. For whatever reason, this plant seems to be shy on flowering because it didn't flower last year, and all I've seen on it, I've noticed down low on the plant, you won't be able to see on camera, I don't think, but it's got a few flower buds, some down there, very low down, so I'll have to watch those carefully and see if I can pollinate them, because there don't seem to be any flower buds up near the top of the plant. Now I cut my unnamed variety back heavily this year, and that resulted in it being covered in flowers, as you'll see in a minute. So I might decide to take about a foot off this next year and see if I can force it into producing more flowers, but you know, it is what it is. Now the first blueberry that I showed, I think this one might be I think it's Chandler. I'm not 100% sure. I've got three. I've got Chandler, Darrow and Blue Crop, and I can never remember which one's which without looking at the labels. Let's just quick look at one of my Tamarillos doing well outside now. There's another blueberry at the back there. I've put no mesh bags on that one. I've just decided to leave the fruits and let the birds have them. We'll see if I can pick a few. And here is my third blueberry, which, as you can see, I've bagged the fruits and they're doing very nicely, ripening in the bags. I think that's the earliest variety. Although, interestingly enough, for whatever reason, the fruits that I didn't bag this year seem to have been left by the birds. I've no idea why at the moment, but these are actually getting to an edible stage now. A little bit green at the bottom, but perfectly pleasant. Now here comes the rain again, but I'm going to try and soldier on because it might not stop raining for the rest of the day. My passion flower amethyst on the fence, as you can probably see, was very heavily cut back by frosts this year, some unexpected cold weather, but it is shooting out from lower down on the stems, so we should get some good recovery on that. Now this is my unnamed pineapple guava. This is just one I bought off eBay that produces round, small, golf ball sized fruit, which don't have much flavour, but I've given it a good hard cutback this year, and it's producing plenty of flower buds again, which, should I get any flowers on my other varieties, I'm going to be using to cross-pollinate them and see if I can get some fruits off the others. You can see this Agipanthus here is just starting to come out now, so some of them are doing fine. Now behind the pineapple guava is my largest persimmon. That one's in ground. It's not a named variety, it was just a seedling plant I bought from Burncoos Nurseries, and it's done very well, but of course it'll probably turn out to be a male flowered one, and as it's only a seedling one, it may, even if it had female flowers, it'll probably produce no fruits, or if it does, they'll be very small. Now, next to that, just starting to come out now. Let's lift the camera up for you. Hopefully you can see that. It's my Caesalpinia gillesii, or gillesii. That's a little bit frost tender, but it's survived the winter without any major dieback, so it's starting to produce its flower buds now, and they're wonderful looking. Now tucked away behind there, probably not going to be able to see it, tucked away behind this pomegranate, I have actually got a pawpaw in ground, a smaller one. That variety is Sunflower. Hasn't yet done very much, but I'm hoping that it might grow a little bit more this year, and we might get a couple of flowers next year for cross-pollination purposes. In front of it I've got an in-ground pomegranate, which is an unnamed variety that again I bought from Burncoos. It's just a regular ornamental pomegranate, although it could produce edible fruits theoretically, and this one certainly does way better than any of my pot growing pomegranates. The Cardiocrinum giganteum, which is a giant Himalayan lily, is now finished flowering behind it. It's got some seed pods on it, but that should develop some side shoots at the bottom, which will form new bulbs, which will in turn flower in a couple of years time. My bottle brush is now getting to the point where the flowers are going over, so what I'll do is to try and keep this raised border in check. Once it's finished flowering, I'm actually going to cut it back quite hard to let light get to the pomegranate and the pineapple guava that's next to it. Now this one is my variety Triumph that I did get quite a few fruits on last year, but they weren't very large. They were like very small chickens' eggs, but they were edible. But it is producing plenty of new, unlike the mammoth, this one is producing plenty of flower buds. Perhaps the mammoth will just be late, but it's got loads of flower buds on it. So what I'm going to do is make sure I cross-pollinate it with the other variety this year, and obviously I will I think if I get a lot of fruits set, I might try thinning them to see if I can increase the size and quality of the fruit. We'll see what happens. Now behind it is my buddleia or butterfly bush, which I have purely for ornamental purposes and to attract butterflies and bees into the garden and to give them a good feed. I've got a nice ornamental climber on the wall behind. It's not flowering at the moment, and temporarily it's escaped my name anyway, although I might, if I get time to edit the video properly, I might put the name on there. It's like a trumpet vine. Oh, Campsis, that's right, it's a Campsis. It's really taken off this year, although I think the neighbour's going to get the benefit of the flowers more than me, as it seems to be mostly growing over into his garden. So this is my pineapple guava, as I said, is Triumph. That is one of the name varieties and should produce reasonably good quality fruits. Now, next to it, I've got my beautiful looking American pawpaw, Asamina triloba. These are stunning looking trees, considering they're hardy in this country. They look really exotic. And it's really starting to take off at last. It's been in, this is the third year it's been in ground, and it was probably about a metre tall, just over 3 feet when I bought it, and it's now, considering it's in a raised border, it's well over 6 feet tall now, so over 2 metres, and this year it's finally starting to grow. Now this was bought from Burnkoos, and it was an unnamed, ungrafted variety, so it's just a seedling plant that either they or someone else grew. However, I've managed to cross-pollinate it this year. You may have seen my pawpaw video the other day, and I don't know if you'll be able to see them, but it has actually, see if I'm getting a bit closer, it has actually set 3 fruits on it, and they're the size of large peanuts, so I might get fruits off this one this year. It'll be very interesting to see what they're like taste and flavour wise compared to the cultivated one I've got, which is a Prima. In front of that is my Crenum, which produces lovely big pink lily type flowers in the autumn, so that's to come. And again, I might cut some of these leaves back on it because I want to maximise the light and sun getting to my pineapple guavas to try and encourage the growth on them, because I'm not too worried about this at the moment. This has got a surplus of leaves, so it probably needs tidying up anyway. So moving over to the other side, I have shown in some of my standalone videos that this, I was meant to paint the fence today, but of course the rain showers have stopped that. You can probably see that I've got the, I've now got the sleepers ready to sort of do the small raised bed that I'm going to do here, but I would like to have got the fence painted, but it's drizzling now, so it's not really going to be very practical. So anyway, just a very quick look round this corner of the garden. I've got my mulberries, as you can see here. I did do a tasting in the video, but it does look as if these white ones are fantastic. This is actually pink Moldovan. It produces white mulberries which get a nice pink tinge to it, and as you can see, this is covered in fruits this year. See that? Excuse me, coughing. Just try that one. Yeah, quite sweet. Not full sweetness. When they get a nice pink tinge to them is when they're actually fully edible, but still quite pleasant. And behind it is my Asian pear Shinziki, which if I go around the other side you'll see a set a few fruits on it. Next to my pink Moldovan is an Illinois Everbearing, which as you can see has got fruits on it. I've not been very sweet this year. I think it's, I may have underwatered the plant accidentally because it was looking a bit droopy and I didn't realise. So the fruits aren't very full at the moment, so they haven't got much sweetness, but that might also be due to the fact that we've had horrific summer as usual so far. No warm weather to sort of really sweeten the fruits up. This little brown turkey fig in a pot here has got a couple of Braber fruits on it coming. Should get to an edible size. So if I just wander around the other side, I can just quickly climb through the plants. It's a bit like climbing through a jungle now. And just show you that I have actually got fruits on my Have actually got fruits on my Shinziki Asian pear. Next to it is my pomegranate. I don't know why, but these don't like pot growing. I've had a lot of dieback on this plant. I actually thought it had died, but as you can see, there's a lot of new shoots come out on it now. But they just don't like being in pots. The one in grounds had no dieback, and all my pot grown ones have suffered bad dieback in winter. So I'm not sure if they get too wet in the pots or if it's something else causing a problem. But this one's shooting all the way down the stem, so there's no actual plant problem with the plant. This one's actually this one's a Molar Delch. Still got one fruit hanging on my Hong Li. My jujubes are looking very poorly this year. You can see that it's got stem dieback on this one. Not sure what's causing it. This one next to it is starting to bud out, but I mean, it's ridiculous. We're now in the first week of July and there's barely a leaf bud on it. Got another one here. This variety is Lee. It's doing a little bit better, but frankly I don't think I'm ever going to see fruits here, because although they flower in July and August, it's just too late for the fruits to set and form, unfortunately. So I think jujubes might turn out to be a failed experiment here. So let me climb out through the plants again. I need to have a bit of a reorganisation here so I can get through them. This is the most advanced jujube. This one is also no, this is a Lang, surprisingly. This one's a Lang. It's a little bit earlier, but you can see the flower buds on it. I mean, it's not even going to be flowering for another 2 weeks, so they just start too late here in our climate to form fruits. Carob tree here, not looking very good. Hasn't grown since I bought it. Frankly, when I took it out and repotted it, this came from Victoriana nursery. I'm going to be honest and say that it had serious root rot. I think they way overwatered them in winter, and I repotted it in a nice open soil hoping it was going to pick up, but at the moment there's no sign of any recovery. I'm just going to quickly flip over the persimmons. There's no point talking about them in detail because I can't get close enough to all them to name the varieties, but as you probably know if you've watched my videos regularly, I've lost 2 to graft failure or root rot, but the other 18 look okay. I mean, we had very bad cold damage on them in April, which killed off all of the initial growth, but they've recovered well. But I lost all of the flowers except for a few flowers on the gyro, which was very late to bud out, and the chocolatino's got a few flowers on it as well. So I've got here at the front a mixture of figs, honeyberries, there's goji berry plants there, there's another goji there. They're too small to flower at the moment. Small mulberry at the front here. This one is agate. You can see it's got some bright red fruits flowering, which I presume will get darker as they ripen. Next to it is my Japanese raisin tree. That's looking pretty good. Suffered frost damage again in spring, but it's recovered well now, doing nicely. This one here is supposed to be a Pakistan mulberry. Hasn't got a label on it. Didn't have a label when I bought it, but I bought it as a Pakistan mulberry, and I'm thinking it's probably the dark fruited one, dark red to black one rather than white one. Excuse me. Another mulberry here. This one is Carmen, and this one's also got some. This is a plant I got this year, and as you can see, it's got fruits, a few fruits on it that the animals haven't got to yet. Quite a few fig varieties here. There's more honeyberries down there. This is my what do they call this one? Yeah, it's a Szechuan pepper tree, this one. That's doing quite nicely. They're meant to be fully hardy. Next to it is my Chinese mulberry, Makura, also known as Che fruit, I think that one is. That's growing okay. I've got various little fig varieties at the front. I'm not going to go through them in detail. That was the Zukis persimmon that died. The graft snapped off, but I've got stems coming up from the rootstock, so I should have some good grafting possibilities on that later. Smaller pawpaw there, I think is Pennsylvania golden. That's not produced flower buds yet, but it looks to me like it's producing flower buds now on its current growth, which will flower next spring, because you can normally see the dormant flower buds appearing in the leaf crevices. My bigger pawpaw at the back that's in a container is my Prima, that's still holding about 8 to 10 fruits on it. I've got assorted other figs here which haven't yet shown any signs of fruiting, apart from that one there, which is an unnamed cypress variety, and that's got 2 Brabers on it that are doing quite well at the moment, so I'm hoping I'm going to get 2 fruits to try on that this year. Down at the bottom I've got a small, hasn't really taken off, I've got a Chilean guava kapow. Didn't take off, didn't do well after it was repotted. I've got a Chilean guava butterball down there. It's had a handful of flowers on it, but again hasn't been enjoying being in a pot. There's a pomegranate wonderful there in a pot, still doing okay. Now this is my medlar, done very well, has got some green fly on it. I haven't sprayed it yet, I think I'm trying to let the ladybirds deal with them. But again, it's looking okay, and I'll give it a little prune up this winter and see if we can encourage some flower bud development. First of my other pineapple varieties here, this one is Coolidge. Got a few flower buds appearing on it, so I might get to try 1 or 2 fruits this year. This variety is Apollo. Again, 1 or 2 flower buds coming on it, so I might better get 1 fruit off it. One of my first loquat. This one is a grafted plant. This is Oliver. It's not doing too badly after its repot. Another pineapple guava here. This one is Marion. And I've got 3 more pineapple guavas hidden behind. I'm not going to climb over and show you all of them in great detail, but there's a Gemini, a Triumph and a Mammoth, and all of them have flower buds on them in containers, so hopefully we should get some a few fruits on them this year. Plenty of ants on the loquats. They're farming the aphids, so I probably should spray the plants for aphids, but I'm not too panic stricken at the moment. This is my little Azores blueberry down here. This is looking very healthy in its pot, growing nicely. Unfortunately I had a serious dieback problem, which I think was lack of water, on this Chilean guava here. This is another flambeau, but I cut it back heavily and cut all the dead growth off, and as you can see there is some fresh growth on it, so I think that's going to be okay. There's my beautiful Calicanthus there. It's going to flower for several weeks. Lovely scented flowers they have. Next to it is another mulberry. This one's actually this one's called Repsine, which is this is a genuine Morris nigra variety, so it's a proper black mulberry. My little flat donut nectarine here, or Saturn nectarine, hasn't really done much. Didn't have any roots on it when they sent it to me bare rooted, so pretty poor really, but it's got some growth on it now, so that should be okay over winter. This is my Luma apiculata here. Not going to go into great detail on the plants, as they'll be in standalone videos. Another grafted loquat there. This one's Mrs. Cookson. Had a lot of leaf loss on it and some dieback. I'm not sure whether it was fertiliser, scorch, overwatering or underwatering, but we'll hopefully see when it makes recovery. This is my blue sausage tree, or dead man's fingers tree. Had a few flowers on it in the spring. I've temporarily forgotten the name of it, but I can no doubt look that up and add that on the video later if need me. Oh, wait a minute, there's a label down there. Oh, it's Descania fargesii, for anyone who's interested. It's raining again, so I'm glad I've nearly finished the video. Tucked away on the floor there, the stem that was coming up on my passion flower a couple of weeks ago unfortunately died back. Now I don't know if it was got by snails or if it was particularly high rain. Now this is my hardy Passiflora incarnata that dies back to the ground each year, and unfortunately they don't really respond well to our wet climate and cold summers. So I'm hoping they're still going to come up this year, and we'll get some flowers in August. That's just a seedling butterfly bush. And just very quickly, quick look at my cucumbers and tomatoes that I put in a video last week before the rain gets too heavy. Got a few fruits on them, and I think we're pretty much going to call it a day there because the rain's coming down heavily now. But even a quick walk around turns into a 25-minute video. So very last raised border, variegated rhododendron. My largest fig tree, which is in ground, you can see the thickness of the stems, fantastic on it now. Still not as stable as I'd like it to be, so I've had to leave these big postings to try and hold it up. More Agipanthus, a couple more Tamarillos, and finally my last camellias. These both need repotting, that's why they've gone so yellow, they're chlorotic. So there's a quick overview of the garden before the rain gets too bad. I don't think I mentioned it, but I've got 3 acacias or chocolate vines on the fence there. 3 different varieties, no fruits this year, but I'm hoping next year with 3 varieties that I might see some fruits on them at last. And a quick overview of the figs and persimmons. One good thing about all the rain and the cooler temperatures is the temperate plants and cool temperate plants respond very well, but it's not good for the tropicals. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm going to stop the video there because it's raining quite heavily once again. Happy Independence Day to my American viewers. Appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up and share the video with anyone you think might be interested in what you can do in a very small garden with plants in containers. Please remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and obviously you can click on the bell if you'd like to get updated on these plants in the future. And you can probably see the rain's coming down hard, so I'm going to go inside in the dry. I'll catch up with you all soon. Brett out for now.